Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing okay. I hope you saw my message on YouTube from yesterday. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here with you. As you can see, I haven't even gotten dressed yet. I slept in. Actually, I could still sleep, but I like to try and be up with the birds, literally. I like to watch the birds. There's so many out here. We have a red cardinal that's actually out there right now, and I never see him, and he's so fat. We have this little chipmunk that comes up on the deck, and he will come right up to the window and tease the cats, like scratch the window, and then he'll start making his high-pitched sound. It's quite comical, to be honest with you. We've got some blue jays, 2 of them, and now a whole flock of these red-winged blackbirds. There's probably a couple hundred of them out there in these trees, and it's really strange. We have a pond in the backyard, so I'm sure they're foraging and having a blast. So maybe I'll get some good pictures later on today. I'm not dressed yet. I'm having my coffee. I wanted to just say hello and talk about the last day, the last week. It was a very, very tough week for me. And I found out when I went in to have my abdomen drained yesterday, probably why. They had taken 6.2 or 6.25 liters of ascites out of me. It did start going into my legs, so it was still, I still have a lot of fluid in my legs today and my ankles, but it's going down, I can tell. So I was carrying almost 2 gallons of fluid on me, and it's really hard on your body when you have 0 BMI and basically no muscle left, because when you get cirrhosis, it attacks your muscles when it starts to run out of body fat, and after that it will start to attack your bones, so your calcium, like your teeth. So it's very important that I take vitamins and keep eating as much protein as I can. But it's hard to eat when you get that big, because you have that ascites pushing up against all your organs. So when you eat, it makes you very full, just the smallest amounts of food, but you have to get something in you. So anytime they take over 3 liters of ascites out of me, they have to put, I think it's 5 ounces of Album in me through an IV. So I was there for quite some time yesterday. I'm very thankful that Mike went with me. And then after that, they had scheduled me to go to the clinic, my digestive clinic, and have an endoscopy where they would have put me under anesthesia and gone inside and looked at my throat, my thoracic area mainly, and then my other organs for varices, which are almost like varicose veins in your legs that are getting ready to rupture, or maybe bad ones, because what they would do at that time is they'd put bands around them so that they wouldn't rupture. That is one of the biggest reasons people death amongst those who have what I have. So before I go into any major surgery, that's a prep, and they're prepping me for hopefully a transplant. That was not happening yesterday. Initially, the doctor had said we'll do it the same day right afterwards so that my stomach's completely empty, which in my situation was incorrect. My blood pressure was 94 over 55, and that's pretty typical blood pressure for me. Once in a while, it's like over 100 and 56, 57. Sometimes it'll hit the 60s. But I could be running up and down the sidewalk or go a couple laps and my blood pressure will not go up. And that's another thing that happens too when you have cirrhosis. So I'm actually on blood pressure medication. My liver doctor put me on that, or my kidney doctor put me on that to raise my blood pressure and keep it steady in between like 50 and 60 range. The reason they were not comfortable doing the surgery at the clinic, or the scope thing at the clinic, is with general anesthesia, your blood pressure drops even more, and they weren't equipped to handle that if my blood pressure were to go even lower. So I'm glad we didn't do that. That scared me. So they said from now on, all procedures will be done in the hospital where they're more equipped and it's safer. So they're gonna reschedule that procedure for me, which I'm thankful that we did not go through with it. I got a free bag of saline in me, I guess. Even though I was already full of fluid. I was in a lot, my legs were in a lot of pain last night. My feet, my ankles, they're still swollen, but I think it might be going down. I'll keep an eye on it. So yesterday, yeah, I was not feeling well all week. We got all that weight off me. I am going to try and schedule my parentheses where they drain my abdomen. The next few weeks, I asked them to move it up a day or two instead of doing it on Fridays. I'm wondering if that'll give me some relief and I won't get so large. It's just very hard on my body, my bones especially. I don't have any muscle to carry that weight, so then I get a lot of pressure on my back and my legs and everywhere where I have to carry all of that weight. And by the time Thursday night came, I could barely walk. I mean, I couldn't even get up. My son came to see me and I was crying. It was like I wanted to die. And they're like, no, you don't. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I pretty much made myself go back to bed and sleep through the pain because I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. So I don't know what we're going to do once I do get on the donor list. If I have to wait very long, like how I'm going to deal with that. So I'm very carefully watching my diet still. I'm pretty much going to go to no sodium, even though they have my low sodium. I bought a lot of that Mrs. Dash stuff. I did cook steaks last night for the first time I've cooked in weeks because I was feeling so good. I wanted to take advantage of that. So we had little sirloin, the brown ones, tenderloins, baked potato, and asparagus. I didn't use salt on my stuff. I used Mrs. Dash, but it turned out fabulous. And I cooked the steaks in a cast iron pan, and they came out perfectly. But I'm going to try and keep a variety of protein in my diet during the week. But just kind of my own experiment, I want to drink more protein shakes and then eat my vegetables and my fruits on the side, and I want to see if that makes a difference and my ascites. Because once I get on the donor list, who knows how long I'll have to wait. So as far as the donor thing, I did get in contact with the University of Minnesota, who I've been waiting to hear from. I need to do an intake appointment with the coordinator that's assigned to me. And I hadn't heard from them, and I was getting a little worried. Well, it comes to find out they had all my information. So they have this massive system where they can pull medical records from anywhere in the nation. And I guess it's very, very, very expensive software. So they had already started pulling all my medical records. Not even Alina has the capability of doing that. So it's pretty impressive. Well, the thing was, they had my contact information from about 15, 16 years ago in the Fairview systems, and they had been trying to call my Malacca phone number, sending stuff to my Malacca address. So we got that all straightened out. So early this next week, they did give me the name of the coordinator for me. I'll be able to connect with them, and the intake is done over the phone, but it's a very extensive intake, as you can imagine. And then at that point, they'll explain to me next steps. From what I know, there is a fairly large waiting list for donors. I was on the phone with someone recently, and I briefly said, yeah, I'm hoping to get on the donor list. And he said, for what? I said, liver. And he said, really? He goes, I'm on the waiting list too, but he has liver cancer. So when I read online the research that I've done, they kind of categorize things as importance, how secure they use the MELD, which we've spoken about. There's all these different variables that go into play. So there could be a list of 100 donors, and I could be right up there at the top, and someone else comes in that's sicker than me, then I get bumped down. So it's a matter of timing, but they still have to have the right donor. And I'm going to learn more about that process as well. I mean, there's tissue. They need to have the right tissue. It needs to be a perfect match for me. Perfect. So it's not just blood type. There's all kinds of different things that go into it, which I'm going to learn about. So that was a very busy day for me. I started playing a game, Clash of the Clans. My kids got me playing that. So thanks, kids. I'm feeling like I could exercise, but today, to be honest with you, my entire body, every part of my body, like under my arms, my chest, my back, my stomach, my sides, my buttocks, my legs, like if I squeeze my butt right now, I feel like I went and spent 3 days at the gym getting my ass kicked. And at the end, did that bring Sally up deal, bring Sally down. Used to do that with my daughter. She'd go work out with me, but I'm not gonna go exercise today. My balance is still a little off. I've done a couple face plants in the last week. I think being heavy like that, my coordination gets off. I was actually FaceTiming my mom, and I had her on my iPad, and I have no idea why I fell. I just stepped wrong and I fell flat on my face. Glad I didn't break my glasses. I'm wearing these today because I think those got a little bit loose because now they're falling off my face, so I need to go get them tightened up. So I had that face plant, and then I fell the week before that, straight back. And then the night before last, I lost my balance trying to be quiet and get out of bed. And instead of my feet hitting the ground first, I didn't realize I was sleeping that close to the edge of the bed because we have a cat, and I am Nacho, who will sleep right next to my back. And I think I try and make room for him. And for whatever reason, I didn't put my feet down first, and I reached over to try and get my bearings with my nightstand, and I did a face plant, boom, on my nightstand, and I fell out of bed. So, yeah, I'm lucky I didn't crack my face up, but that woke me up. So then I was up the rest of the night from that. And then what else is new? So I've been talking to my brother a lot every day. He's down visiting my parents. I haven't seen them in a few years. They're in Alabama, and I'm hoping that they're gonna come see me. We're getting ready to move. I'm very excited to downsize. We don't have, between the two of us, we have 5 kids, and at some point, at least one of our children have lived with us, but we're ready to be empty nesters, and we're downsizing to a 1-bedroom condo. We were hoping to get the one with a den, but we're gonna wait. If we like it there, they said we could move into a different unit, but it faces the pool. It's got a nice saltwater pool. It's inside of the building, so it's like in a circle. It's completely enclosed. They have a 24-hour fitness center, tanning, which I don't need. It's like walking into the Taj Mahal, but it's very like walking distance to my clinic and grocery store, and they're putting in more restaurants there. And it's gonna be good for us. We're getting to that age where I think we deserve that, so we'll be able to relax and enjoy our time together. What else is new? You know, I think I just want to try and touch on a couple questions that were thrown at me. And I don't want to take up too much of your time because I already spoke for 18 minutes here, but I was asked, you know, how about my MELD, and I did reprint that in there. So my MELD's around 20. It fluctuates between 19 and 21. It's sticking there at 20. They're checking it like bi-weekly right now, just to keep a close eye on it because of how sick I've been. Things are progressing a little bit faster for me, unfortunately. You know, people can get cirrhosis and live for years with no issues as long as you change your diet and your food and your exercise. But I think I did enough damage drinking that could probably kill a pirate. So here I am, and the other question I wanted to talk about was how my drinking affected, you know, my children. And, you know, when they were really young, I didn't really drink heavily. I was too busy working overnights and raising a baby, and I think I was going to school at the same time. My big thing when I was in like my college years was raising my kid, working full-time, going to school, and drinking coffee and smoking weed. maybe beer here and there. I think over the years, as I became more successful, took on more responsibilities, had more time on my hands, liquor was introduced to me more, and I started to really like Bacardi, Limons, Bacardi Diets, the vodka thing. Didn't really get into the vodka thing until a few years later, and I got hooked on salty dogs. I love grapefruit juice, which I can't have anymore because I didn't know it will mess your meds up. Look it up. But it kind of progressed over years, and I'm talking like 18 years. It probably progressed and turned into the hard liquor, where I didn't even care if I had a beer anymore. It was more of liquor is quicker. When you wanted to go home after busting your ass all day, they're working 1 or 2 jobs, you know. Actually, I got into winemaking when I lived in Malacca. We had cherry trees, cherry bushes. We had crabapple trees, apple trees. I had rhubarb, and I learned through my ex-husband, and it was something we had gotten into, was making our own wine in like 5-gallon buckets. How do we make it? You would not believe the amount of sugar you have to put in there. Holy cow. But my drink of choice then became going to the liquor store and buying a bottle of Grigio. And as you know, a bottle of Grigio is what? 3 big glasses, maybe 4. So one of those a night. That probably didn't help any. But as far as my children, I think the way it affected them, because both my ex-husband and I drank, I should have been there for them more, and put my foot down a lot more with the things that were going on. There's some disappointment there. My daughter has spoken to me about it, and even though I was the parent that was there all the time, no matter what, trying to get to the softball games, the volleyball games, the wrestling meets, the football games, I think that stuff gets forgotten about when your mom is an alcoholic, because to me, I was doing it. I was doing everything, right? I was the only one that would go to conferences. If there was something, a birthday party somewhere, I would go. So I was thinking about those things, and I wasn't thinking of it in the fact of my kids see me drunk, and they didn't like it, and they did start to voice that, and I just blew it off. What I have done it differently, yeah. But I didn't listen to them, and they've thrown that in my face a few times over the years, since I've gotten sick. They're more compassionate and understanding, although what I did wasn't okay. I could have been there more for my kids. Probably should have been divorced way longer than what I was. But codependency and drinking and being in an abusive relationship with someone can really mess with your head a lot and give you self-doubt, and you start to believe the things that you hear, and then you just keep drinking because you don't think it's going to get any better. But I did get better, but it was probably too late. Years later, getting a divorce, and now being in a relationship where I see how a relationship should work. I grew up in a very, very close-knit family. We did everything together, from Boy Scouts to fishing, to yard work, to gardening. Dad teaching us how to make pancakes when we were little kids, and just grew up on good values. My parents were both in the military and came from very great backgrounds, very loving. And I didn't marry into that. And I had low self-esteem about myself. And that had a lot to do with the direction that I took with being in a relationship with the person that I was married to. But now that I'm sober and I am with someone, I see part of my parents' love and the relationship that they have, and the relationship that I have with Mike. And I thank God for that I get to experience that. My kids love him, I love him, his family. So I guess a regret would be, any regrets is not listening to my parents when they told me to get out of my marriage. My dad's a very wise man. He's done a lot. We are all raised, Lutheran, Protestant, and truly we all believe in God. And I think I became rebellious in my high school years because he wanted nothing but the best for me, and all I did was see my friends and other kids in school going to parties and doing things that I thought I should be able to do, and I took it upon myself to do those things and get myself in trouble, hanging around with the wrong people. Probably. I'm not all of them. I did have best friends that are very, very actually cool people to this day that I miss a lot. One of my regrets is giving up my friends when I started seeing my other, my ex-husband when we were young. He was very selfish. He did not want me going out. He would not even want me going to see my parents. But I was so brainwashed. I think it was brainwashed. And I think if I had not been drinking and had my head on straight, I probably would have made a few different decisions in my life. But regrets as far as drinking, yes, a lot. Because things could have turned out a lot differently. Am I going to sit and dwell on that? No. Those regrets are going to stay there. They're not going to go away. But I'm in the now. And I need to move forward, and that's what I'm trying to do. And God has blessed me with so many things recently that I am not going to take advantage of it. And that's why I'm here, is I would like to give back and show my graciousness, and hope and pray that I could help put a bug in someone's ear, or if you know someone or someone else, maybe save them, because honestly I'm scared right now. I don't know. You don't know day to day if you're gonna get sicker in a week. I'm still jaundiced. I should have went away. I know it could take a good 6-9 months after drinking, but we're getting there. So my delirium, the ascites is getting more progressive. So I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie, but I have faith. I'm allowed to be scared in this position. So, there was another question about sobriety and staying sober. Prior to just stopping with my drinking. Last summer, I'd always said, I'm gonna back off. I'm not gonna drink this anymore. But then I'd have an alternative. I think that was my way of falling off the wagon after I had quit. I was justifying it. Well, I'm not drinking this. Drinking seltzers instead, and that's okay. But no, a beer is liquor. Okay, a seltzer drink is liquor. It all has ethanol in it. It all has alcohol in it. And I would consider that falling off the wagon in a really stupid way instead of quitting when I probably knew I could have. But I didn't want to quit. I needed to come home at the end of the day and feel good. And that's what helped me get through my days, to be completely honest with you. So, that last very serious hospital visit that I had last fall, and they said, you can't drink another drop. You're gonna die. I quit. And because I had been so sick for so long, and so many different things were starting to happen to me physically. I was dropping weight, and I was having problems with my bowels, and the spider webs, which I thought was a rash, turns out it's from cirrhosis. They'll go away hopefully eventually, and thankfully it didn't go on my face. But I personally haven't. I guess that was my way of falling off the wagon, was making excuses of why not to stop. I haven't fallen off the wagon since. And to be completely honest with you, for me, the hardest thing I did was quit smoking this last year during this process. I think about cigarettes. I don't even think about having a drink. But then it passes, like I'll smell it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to smell that. You just want the cigarette, and usually, your cigarette and your drink goes hand in hand, and I think I've been so sick right now that it actually makes me want to vomit if I see a commercial of like certain liquors, the hard liquor stuff, the tequila. Ugh, that makes me sick. I'll smell people I've been drinking mixed with alcohol or beer and cigarettes, and it just makes me want to vomit. I think there's a point you get past where that can be you, where if you're a heavy drinker and you get to the point where you sit back and you realize, hey, everyone else is drinking and I'm still having a good time. Actually, now it can be annoying if you're around a lot of people and someone's very like shit-faced and you're like, oh my God, I can't even sit here and listen to this anymore. Is that what I sounded like? Is that what I did? Like, I don't know. So that's my story of sobriety. In addition to God, I am very close to my Lord, and I pray all day. I pray all the time. I always have been close to God, but I took that for advantage as well. He's now putting many blessings in my pathway. It's just a matter of me making sure that I'm trudging forward and getting through the hard days. And Mike tries to remind me that it's going to be okay. You're going to make it through this. That's really hard. When you get really sick all the time, it's so hard. But falling off the wagon hasn't happened. And I know a lot of people who have stopped drinking for like 10 years and then they have a drink and then they right away they start messing up again. So I would say have God in your life. If you're a Christian, or have a support system, someone you can talk to. I'm not saying don't go to AA, but make sure maybe AA would be a good start. When my son was going through treatment, I did go to 1 or 2 AA meetings with him to support him. And I heard some stories that did break my heart. That might be a good start, but because there's underlying things that go with alcoholism, it might be also a good idea to get evaluated and see if you're depressed, because most alcoholics are depressed. I'm actually on antidepressants right now, but they're for a couple of reasons. One is they think in combination with my sleep pills, and it can help with pain. I do worry a lot, and that causes a ton of anxiety with me. And if I go to the ER, you'll see me in full color. Last couple times I've calmed down because I'll get there and in my mind, I'm being nice and I'm asking questions because they're actual questions for the doctor, but it just comes across as rude. But I think the anti-anxiety meds have helped me balance that out for now, and I don't plan on being on them forever. But if it helps me cope better, it's always in the back of my mind that this could go very fast, and there might not ever be a liver there for me. It's a perfect match, or I could get a matched liver and it could fail. There's a lot of bad things that could happen, but faith in God and praying, especially my children, and I love that. My children believe in God, and they do have faith in God, and I can honestly say that. I'll be happy to move back closer to a couple of them. My oldest is up in the St. Cloud area, so I don't get to see him as much. They're all doing well. So as far as, relapsing, I haven't personally gone through it. I've seen it happen. And I told you about my friend George, that he was married, and his wife was basically supporting his habit because she couldn't stand him being sober, because he tried to get sober and he was just a crabby asshole. So she'd go buy him a case of beer. So he wanted to try. He didn't have that support system there. And that's very important. I would say stay out of the bars for a while. It doesn't bother me. I could probably go play bingo if I wanted to, but we've just not been in the bars now for a year. I haven't been in the bars for a couple years because I've been trying to quit before this even happened. Just separating myself from them. Not that I'm saying I want to lose my friends that I know go hang out. It's just now is not a good time for me to put myself in that situation. It's different if Mike and I go and we play cards with our friends and they're having a couple of beers. Well, I'm addicted to lemon water. I love my seltzer waters. I love iced tea with lemon. I'm just learning to appreciate other things in life so that I can have more fun, if that makes sense. network on here. Have someone that you can talk to, reach out to if you're having a tough day. You know, your friends are going out after work and you feel like you had a really rough day and you feel like you're going to succumb to it. Don't, you know, reach out to somebody on here and say, hey, or say, Kari, I'm just I'm really depressed at work right now. I hate my job. I hate my boss. All the people at work are going to go out and talk about him and go to the bar. And I don't want to drink. Well, my response to that would be, well, I feel like you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to be making a decision based on your feelings. So think about that. Look for resources. April 4th, I do start seeing a virtual therapist, and that is for various reasons. We can talk about my alcoholism, but that's not my main concerns right now. My main concerns are being here. I don't want to die, and I don't want to be a burden and leave any burdens. I want to see my great-great-grandkids. And what I dwell upon is different than maybe somebody else, because I get scared. And I know I've wasted a lot of years of my life, and I won't get that back. So I need to make the best of it right now. I think there was another question. I don't have to go back and look at my notes, but I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I am going to get back on. Like I mentioned before, I do want to start tying in some of my lessons around different scenarios. You know, we had the 4 habits the other day, and that could be for anyone. That doesn't necessarily need to be for someone who drinks. It's setting those micro goals and, you know, bearing your ashes, carrying your cross. You know, how do you carry the burden with you? Let's talk about life in general and, you know, why you're in a bad marriage and you drink. Let's talk about those things. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a psychologist. You know, I have had classes while in college for human resources, and oftentimes I did feel like the doctor's in, the doctor's out, kind of my door, because a lot of people did come to me. And thinking back now, how much more of a superhero I could have been if I had my shit together. I could have done a lot more with that skill. So I do a lot of studying and a lot of reading and analyzing, and I've learned to really pay attention to people and how to read people, and we'll talk about that too, because I think you need to become more in tune with reading other people, because you could be sitting at a table drinking with 3-4 other people and you're getting fed a bunch of shit, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're hanging out with this person who's a liar, and there's so many things that we can talk about, but I do appreciate your feedback. You know, I know one of the YouTubers that I watch, I haven't watched recently because I've been so busy. A lot of us are homebodies. A lot of us don't drive, including myself, because I've been lost too many times. And until my mind is straightened back up, I don't drive, but I'm learning to watch some TV. So if you have any good movies out there that you can recommend, your favorite ones. I've actually gone back and rewatched a couple that have popped up on other YouTube channels. So have a wonderful Saturday. I do like to hear from everyone. And thank you for those who have put the questions out there and are praying. I can feel it. I can feel it. Honest to God, I can feel your prayers. Not to be goofy, but I can. Recommend movies. We can talk about food. Like I said, I had steak and potato. Gotta have your proteins, as long as you're not eating a bunch of salt. And I could only eat like a quarter of my steak, quarter of potato. I had little bits at a time, but that's okay because that means I can have a protein shake snack later, or a fruit smoothie later. Yeah, I could sit and talk your ear off all day. So have a wonderful Saturday. Please make sure you subscribe. I would love to have enough subscribers to do more things with. Recommend your friends. I try to put it on my Facebook for those of you who are my friends on Facebook, but I don't know if everyone sees that. So I don't want to plug up my Facebook with my YouTube channel because I don't believe that's what that's for. But I did want to get it out there a couple times so that I really appreciate more prayers. Love you guys. Have a great day. The sun's coming out. Love you. 46 minutes.